Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Leadership Live with Anton Gunn. I'm so excited about being with you again, as I am every Wednesday at 9 a.m. to share some insights, some goodness, some things that are going to help you to become a better leader, build a better team, to be the kind of leader that everyone admires and deliver on a world-class workplace culture. Now, today's conversation is going to be one that's really positive and uplifting, and that is, how do you know that you're a good leader? Or really the question is, many times we are doing our best to be a leader. We're trying to have an impact. We're doing everything in our power to make a difference, but we have this self-doubt. We have this stuff that creeps up into the back of our minds and makes us question whether we're actually a good leader. And we don't know. And we think, what is the formula, Anton? Can you give me the simple formula to be a good leader? And the reality is, leadership is complex. It's not at all simple. It is very complex because it depends on the team that you're in. It depends on the type of organization you're a part of, the culture of that organization, what you're allowed to do as a leader, your emotional intelligence, your knowledge about people. There's so many different things that could set the stage to make you either a great leader, good leader, or a bad leader. And sometimes we just don't know if we're doing all of the things right all of the time. And that's when the doubt starts to creep in. We wonder, am I making the right decisions? Hey, I had somebody leave my team. Is it my fault? What did I do wrong? Or maybe things are not working out anymore. We have all of these doubts and questions in our mind that makes us wonder if we are a good leader. So today, what I thought I'd do very quickly, and we're not going to be long today, but I have some points that I think will help you to understand that you're a good leader, even when you don't feel like you're a good leader. When it doesn't feel like you're doing all of the right things. These are 3 ways that you can understand that you're thriving as a leader, that you are doing a good job, that you're a good leader if you see these signs within your team and within your organization. You could also use these same 3 barometers to measure your CEO, to measure your board chair, the person who leads at the highest level of your organization, to know whether they are a good leader if you see these 3 signs. So I want to give this to you in the best way that I know how, and that is simple, straight up and direct. But I'm going to tell you, I'm about to unpack a few things. As you know, you don't get the lighthearted stuff with Anton Gunn. When I mean lighthearted is, you know that I'm a teacher first, that I'll give you a few platitudes and a few bars, as I like to say in the hip hop vernacular, a few one-liners or jewels that you can tuck in, put in your pocket and carry with you. But I want you to carry much more than that. I want you to carry some framework around what you need to do tomorrow if you're not seeing all of these signs. So each one of the signs is going to have 1, 2, or 3 things underneath of it that you might want to take notes about. So if you're not in a position to take notes, that's cool, because this will stay on my page in perpetuity. I don't delete my lives. I show them so everybody can see them. And I know that there are plenty of people who are in a 9 a.m. meeting on Wednesdays and they can't watch it live. So they want to come back and get it later. And I want to make sure that it's accessible to them. So just know you can always get this, but I encourage you to take notes. Pull out a pen or a pad. If you're on your phone, if you're driving, don't look at anything while you're driving. Just keep driving and listen to me. Okay? So let's jump right in. Here are the 3 signs that you know you are a good leader, even when you don't feel like you're a good leader. The first sign is this: that your team thrives and grows. I'm going to repeat that. Sign number one that you're a good leader is when your team is thriving and growing. If your team is thriving and growing, that means you are a good leader. Now, I want to give you a little bit more meat on this bone about how do you know whether your team is thriving or growing. So here's the first one. Does everybody on your team have a clear professional development pathway or plan? Let me be clear. If everybody on your team has a professional development plan or a pathway to a higher position, and you have ensured that as a leader, then your team is going to thrive and grow because everybody knows that you see them beyond the role that they're in, that you see that they can be something more than just the job that you've hired them for. So if your team has clear pathways, if they have clear development plans, professional development plans, then you know that your team is going to grow and that they're going to thrive because the people in your organization, they want to know that you see them more than what they're in. Nobody wants to stay in the same job forever, at least not people who are motivated, who are productive, and want to have an impact in their organization. Nobody wants to do the same job for 25 years. Not really. They want to grow. So the question is, have you given them a clear pathway to professional development? If you have, then your team is a team that thrives and grows. The second thing you want to see and know if your team is thriving and growing is if they're excited about new challenges. Like literally, are you putting new challenges and opportunities in front of them that they can say, you know what, man, I'm excited about this new project. I'm excited about we're going in this new direction. I'm excited about we're doing these things the way that we need to do them. I'm really excited about having an impact. I'm excited about trying this new tool out. If they're excited about challenges and opportunities that are in front of them, then your team is going to be thriving and growing because all new challenges are going to push you, which makes you grow. So you're winning as a leader if your team is excited about new challenges. There's a third aspect of knowing whether your team is thriving and growing. And this is a question. Is your team taking calculated risk? That's right, you heard me. Is your team taking calculated risk? Are they assessing how they can push the envelope? Are they taking calculated risk as employees and team members? Do you support them in taking calculated risk? Now, the type of risk I'm talking about professional risk. I'm not talking about risky behavior or negative behavior. I'm talking about professional risk. That is, let's try this new tool and be excited about trying a new tool. Or let's try to hit these goals that we thought were unreachable. Let's take a risk. Let's take a shot at it. If they're doing that, then your team is going to thrive and grow. So that's sign number one. If your team is thriving and growing because everybody got clear professional development plans, because they're excited about challenges, new challenges, and that you encourage them taking calculated risks, then your team is going to thrive and grow. And that means you're a good leader. Now, here's a second sign that you know that you're a good leader. Have you earned the trust and the respect of your team without having to demand it? Now, y'all know for me, trust is a cornerstone of being a good leader. So my question, have you earned trust from your team? Have you earned respect from your team? If the answer to that question is yes, that I have earned the trust and respect of my team, then you know that you're a good leader. Now, I know some of you are saying, Anton, well, I think I've earned trust and respect from my team. I think I have those things, but I'm not really sure. So let me give you a couple things to think about to know whether you have really earned trust and respect from your team. Number one, are you accessible and approachable as a leader? Now, when I say accessible and approachable, do people on your team feel comfortable bringing problems to you? Or when they come to you with a problem, do they get shouted down and told why they don't know what they're talking about because you, as a leader, have all of the answers already? If you already got the answers, and I'm telling you right now, you ain't approachable. If you're not approachable, you probably don't have the trust and the respect of your team. It's particularly the respect piece, because people want to work for a leader that is confident and comfortable in their skin, but is okay with somebody bringing them problems or bringing them new ideas. But if you think you already got the answers, then you don't need to listen to nobody's problems and you don't want any new ideas. But I don't think that's you. I think you've earned the trust and respect from your team because you're accessible and approachable, and they're comfortable to bring you problems. They're comfortable to bring you new ideas and won't have their ideas stepped on or shouted down, but maybe evaluated and potentially implemented. So that's really it. If you are approachable and accessible for people to bring problems and ideas, then you have earned their trust and respect. Now, here's another offshoot of that. This is the second part of that trust and respect, that you can ask the question whether you're doing this to determine whether you're a good leader or not. And that is, are people comfortable with openly sharing that they disagree with you? Are you the type of leader that is okay with people sharing a different opinion, a different idea, or saying, I don't agree with you, I disagree, that's what we're doing? If they don't even feel empowered to speak up and say those things, then you may not be a good leader. But a good leader creates the space and the opportunity for people to disagree, to have a difference of opinion, to be a contrarian, so to speak. If you're confident that you can take that criticism, that different opinion, and not get bent all out of shape, then you likely have earned the trust and respect of everybody in your team. But if people are afraid to bring you bad news, if they're afraid to disagree with you, if they're afraid to bring you problems, then you might not be the leader that is good enough to lead, because you haven't earned the trust and respect. So that's sign number 2, that you're a good leader, is if you earn, again, trust and respect from your team, because you're open and accessible. People can bring you ideas, new problems. You'll investigate them. You won't punish people and beat people up, and you don't think you already have the answers. And you have created the space that people can openly disagree with you, not co-sign on what you said and feel like they have to agree with you 1,000%. I want you to know that if you're doing that thing, those things, open, inviting dissent, accessible for problems and new ideas, then you're a good leader. That's sign number 2. Now, here's sign number 3, and I'm going to bring us home with this one. I want you to make sure that you're paying attention to this one. Do you celebrate the successes and learn from the failures on your team? If you're doing that, then that's a sign that you're a good leader. Again, celebrating the successes and learning from failure. Are you doing that with your team? Not just you learning from the success and from failure, but are you doing that with the team? So what does this really look like? Are you the leader that understands that you didn't achieve success all by yourself and there was a team around you? So when anything happens, the first thing you do is to celebrate the team's achievement, not your achievement. Like, think about the great quarterbacks in the National Football League, the Tom Brady's of the world. Tom Brady might be the one that threw the touchdown pass for them to win the Super Bowl, but he'll tell you in a minute that my coaches put me in a good position. The offensive line blocked, and the running back made a good fake right there. The receiver ran an excellent route, and he just made it easy for me to throw it in there because he did such an awesome job. Like, when you win as a company, as an organization, as a team, Do you celebrate the team's success? Do you make sure everybody understands that we would not be here without this whole group? Do you celebrate the team's success? Also, as a part of that, do you acknowledge the individual members on the team? Do you call people out, not call them out, shout them out for their success? I want to acknowledge Sarah for what she did on this project. And without her work, we would not be where we are. So kudos to you, Sarah. High five. And I want everybody to see and know what Sarah contributed. That's my question for you. Did you put that in place? Were you okay with saying, you know what, on this whole circumstance, I mean, we were dealing with some difficult stuff, and it was Frank who got us through tough times. It was Frank who put in the work, he put in the hours, he did the hard work, he thought on his feet, he got it done. And we would not be where we are if it wasn't for Frank's work. That literally is your approach if you are a leader who celebrates successes and learns from failures, is that you literally acknowledge and celebrate the team wins, and you call out individuals for their successful approach to the work and what they have done. You got to acknowledge people's efforts, individual effort. That's what people want to see, is that you see their individual effort. And if you're the type of leader who's already doing that, then you are on your way to understanding that you are a good leader. Now, the last two pieces of this. When you don't win, when you fail as a team, do you blame people, everybody else, or do you own the accountability for not getting the job done? Like, I literally just saw a video meme about Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, that when they didn't win a championship, their response was, well, I just didn't get the job done. That we failed because I didn't play better, or because I didn't work hard enough, or I didn't do all the things that I need to do. And so it's nobody's fault but my own. As a leader, they're trying to own the accountability. That when things don't go well, they owned it. They owned the failure. They didn't blame the team. They didn't point fingers at other people. They didn't say, well, it's your fault, or it's the coach's fault, or I played great. I scored all of my points. You know, I got 5 triple doubles this season, or 10 triple doubles in the playoffs. So I did my job. Everybody else just let down. They didn't do that. They owned the accountability for the failure. And not only did they own it, they openly communicated about it. See, when I say openly communicate, you got to talk about where you failed. You got to talk about the mistakes that you made. You got to be open and transparent with your team about what went wrong here. What was the mistake? What could we do better? What should we have done differently? You got to talk about it. Communicate about the failures. And then the last piece of what really being a leader that does this about is learning from those mistakes and those failures. How are you documenting what you're going to change and improve? And do you encourage your team to learn from mistakes? Not casting blame, not punishing people for things that didn't go wrong, but say, okay, we all messed up. We all made a mistake. We didn't get the job done. Bob, you didn't get the job done, but what are we going to do differently next time? What are we going to learn from this? That's what a good leader does. Is a good leader learns from mistakes and celebrates the team's successes. So there you have it. I hope it makes sense for you. I hope it's real simple. 3 signs that you're a good leader, even if you don't feel like it. Is your team thriving and growing? Have you earned the trust and respect from your team? And most importantly, do you celebrate successes and learn from your failures? If that's you, you're a good leader, even when you don't feel like it. But I've laid out a few things here. Underneath one of these 3 signs are things that you need to be able to measure whether you are doing what you need to do to be that kind of leader. So I want to thank you for watching. If you want more content like this, if you want to learn more how you can become a better leader, you might want to have me come into your organization. I do a great talk on how to become a leader that everybody will admire, where I teach some of these principles and some tactical things that you can measure yourself against to know whether you're doing those things. Or if you just want to read more about this, you can go to antongunn.com, check out the blog, the latest blog on this subject, 3 signs to know that you're a good leader, even when you got the doubt, when you feel like you're not, even when you doubt yourself and you're wondering whether I really am a good leader. 3 signs are right there. So I hope this is news that you can use on this Wednesday morning as you prepare yourself for the rest of this week. Just know it's Wu-Tang Wednesday. Every Wednesday is Wu-Tang Wednesday. Make sure you take time, grow, learn, and develop. And I will see you next Wednesday for Leadership Live with Anton Gunn. Have a fantastic